Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Renewable Radio podcast. Today, I've got a fantastic special guest of Joseph Valente. Joseph won the Apprentice. He's the CEO of Trade Mastermind, Millionaire Mastermind, run Impragas to an 8-figure business, and is doing the same with Trade Mastermind. So thanks very much, Joseph, for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me, Jam.
It's a pleasure to have you on, and I'm looking forward to getting into it with you. How do you filter the questions, man?
Well, it's funny that you say that, because I was looking back through my notes from yesterday. Last night, I went home and I'm launching Trade Group Services, which is all of these subsidiary businesses. And I'm sitting there thinking, if we could wrap these all into one monthly cost, it would be great for retention and great for customers. And I'm listing them all out on the board in my home, because I've got a whiteboard at home. So, I'm always putting stuff up, and I put it all on the whiteboard. And then I went back through my notes and I searched Trade Recruit and I searched something else. And you should see years on years on years of I've written that fucking thing down. Because as soon as it comes to my head, I put it in the notes. And then eventually it comes true. You'll eventually get around to it. Some of them are 4 or 5 years in the making. And so you're never going to do everything, when it comes to mind, but you just got to note it down. And when you're in a creative mode, just keep noting it down and put it into the notes. And it's weird how eventually it will connect. So just try not to diversify too much to focus you away from the core thing that it is that you're doing.
You've got an ideas book then that you put next to your bed?
Nah, mine's in the phone.
Is it?
Yeah, it's the same thing, but it's in the notes.
Okay.
Yeah, just thousands and thousands of notes. If they're important, I'll pin them. I'll email myself. I've got loads of pinned emails, and I'll leave them up there, even though they clog up the inbox, because I'll just go through them every day and see if it's become relevant yet. Yeah, so just make a note of it, pin it, and then screen them. Not relevant still, not relevant still, not relevant still. And I could go through that exercise 500 times until it goes, right, ready to pull the trigger on Trade Recruit now. Right, get me someone in, job done, now's the time type thing, yeah? So that's how I do it. It's just lots and lots of fucking notes logged everywhere, or emails on notes, and just keep coming back to you. It's funny, you end up full circle back at the idea at some point.
Is that what you're finding? So the more you go into stuff, you note things down, have these great ideas, you recycle, regurgitate, and it all comes back.
Just keep recycling it until it lands. You might put, like, I've had this trade club, like, we've got the app launching in January, and I paid for it for 2.5 years in a row, 15 grand a year just for the fucking software, and I haven't used it yet. Yeah, like, literally, and I'm like, just pay and I'll eventually do it, Yeah. I'm 30 grand in and I ain't even fucking done anything with it. So, but this year, finally, we've got enough people to press the button on it and I'm ready, so you just got to keep, it will eventually come full circle and you end up executing.
Yeah. What's your big goals, mate? What's achievement do you like? And sit back, you got your family around you.
Never sit back, first and foremost.
No, but you know what I mean. When you're 80 years of age, what will be your end goal? What was it for you?
Immortality. That'd be pretty good. Yeah. But I almost kind of want to go to heaven, to see what it's like. So I have to believe that there's more than just this. I cannot be this fucking on it and then in a couple of years be a wrinkled old motherfucker and then have to walk away. Yeah. I ain't going out like that. There's no way. So you got to believe that there's something else. But I don't know. 100 million, a billion, 100 billion, it just doesn't really matter. As long as I feel fulfilled, as long as I feel like I achieved it.
What is fulfillment for you?
Constant evolution. Nice. Just trying to be the best version. But I think the problem with that is every time you get to the next version of yourself, you realize how much more you've still got to give. Yeah. Every time I get there, I'm like, man, and there's that quote that's like, your previous self would have been happy of where you are right now. So just take a minute to appreciate what you've done rather than chasing that next level every single time. So that's humbling at times for about 0.3 seconds till I go, yeah, that was all right, next. So I think it's just always leveling up. The problem is, though, as soon as you level up, you get the confidence that you can do more. So there's never a cap. I look at Cardone, he's quite like that. You know, he's at his 5 billion. He talks about 50 billion now. And if he gets it and he doesn't run out of time because he's 65. So it's usually can you hit the goals in the time that you've got, isn't it? In reality, you see how long it takes to build businesses. It's not quick. No. It takes a lot of time, a lot of hard work, a lot of years. I've been in business for 12 years now, since I was 22, to get to this point. And, you know, you underestimate what you can do in 10 years and overestimate what you can do in one. But I definitely thought it would have been faster.
Yeah, time's only limit us on us, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, man, that's cool. Mentors-wise,
yeah.
Who are your mentors?
Well, right now I've got a guy called Nick Bradley, and he's a big private equity guy. And I appointed him as a non-exec of the board and a private mentor because he had a video that I saw on social media, and I spoke to him on Clubhouse a few years ago, and that came out in lockdown. And he basically says that if you can get your business to between 5 million and 10 million EBITDA, you open up what's called the mid-market of private equity. So it means it by default opens up a new level of buyer. And those buyers will buy your EBITDA between 5 to 12 times. Yeah, or 8 to 12 times. So if you pick 10 times, all you got to do is make 5 million a year in profit, and you could find the right buyer and you could sell it for 50 million. Yeah. And so he's come from private equity. He knows it like the back of his hand, inside out, mergers, acquisitions, private equity. And he's exited some businesses and been CEO of ones that have exited for a few billion. And luckily he's local. He's an Australian guy. He's always in America, but he lives in a very small, posh village called Wanford. And he's local. So I've been tapping him to him. He's been very, very good recently. And has opened up my eyes to this whole strategy around buying businesses to build up your profit and rolling them up to get a bigger exit. And so that seems like a great strategy.
How are you going to bring that into Trade Mastermind then when you learned as much as you can about the mergers and acquisitions? Because there's a lot of companies doing mergers and acquisition courses now. Is that next for you?
It's next for me to do it before I train it.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've got a new COO coming in January. So I've hired him from Amazon. He runs £150 million a year business out of Luxembourg right now. He's 56, 20 years in the military, highly decorated. You know, he's operations and logistics, so very heavy into the detail. Yeah, and luckily he's from Peterborough. And he's known me since the Apprentice days. I didn't know him, but he's known me. He's been watching Unfinished Business, loves it, and he saw the role. And so he came in to see me, and he goes, well, look, I've been here for 12 years. Yeah, the next level is like partner or something, but it's hard to get. And to be honest, I'll only get it if I'm offshore. Yeah, and he's sick of it. He's been in Dubai setting up stuff. He's been in Europe. Like, he's been away from his family for a long, long time. And but he's obviously got a big fucking salary and a sick pension and bonuses. So to get something local that would pay a similar amount, there is no opportunity. Now, I've given him a big fucking salary to get him in. But he's a big hitter. And so he'll come and take over running the day-to-day. The second I get out of the fucking day-to-day, I'm on a mission to buy and expand. Product like buy, there are 3 ways to build. There is to buy, to build, or to partner.
Okay.
Yeah. So you either buy it, or you build it from scratch, or you partner. Well, I want to buy, and then roll it all in and learn about how to integrate the businesses into one big thing. And then I want to expand geographically into America.
What do you want to buy?
Accountancy firm.
Nice.
Probably a recruitment business to speed up the growth of Trade Recruit, because organic scaling takes a while. Maybe another digital marketing agency, probably an assurance brokerage, just anything to do with a trade service. Anything what you need as a workwear business. Some of them will be really profitable. Some of them will just be good for our customers to have in the ecosystem. Because the biggest vision for me right now is TGS becoming a one-stop shop for trade and construction business owners. So they can buy everything for one fixed monthly fee. So whatever time you need design, whenever you need recruitment, whenever you need training, whenever you need a CRM, whenever you need anything, you get it all in this fixed monthly fee.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. And stay in within the ecosystem. And then you've got customers for 20, 30 years. And then all of that value would be serious. That would probably be it's the $100 million to $1 billion exit if I get the volume right.
Okay.
Yeah. So
how would you plan for that?
Well, brainstorm the product, test it, put a post out last night, and loads of people in the announcement group said they'd like it for a fixed monthly fee. So in January, I'm going to launch it. Basically.
Pulling the trigger straight there. That's fantastic.
Yeah. You know, so roll out a fixed monthly fee and make it affordable, make it good, but also make it so that if businesses pay, if they stop paying, all their services get turned off. It's gold. Yeah. It's good for good payers because it's a great thing. But let's say, for example, someone decides to miss one payment. If you don't pay, your website's going off, your CRM's going off, your recruitment's going off. Yeah. No one wants that, do they? Yeah. So
fixed.
Say again.
It's a fixed.
It's fixed. Yeah. So you rent everything from us. Wow. Yeah, for a fixed fee. But the thing is, a business going to all these different providers is tough. So the convenience of a one-stop shop is golden. And I had this idea in April bank holiday 2021. Me and Chris were sat upstairs and we came in to write the vision and the mission. I said to him, and my stuff just comes to me. Like I'll be in the middle of the convo and I go, I just had a fucking great idea. Yeah. And because I always, after Impra, I needed something that was going to give me quantum leap in wealth. Yeah. So you need a quantum leap event. Yeah. What's a quantum leap event? It's an exit, yeah, or it's a listing on the stock exchange, really, yeah? Because your organic profits in your business as you grow will make you some money, but it's not a quantum leap event. The quantum leap event has to be, one of those two things. And I said to him, we're going to go, because I like to do things I've not done before. So I was like, right, we're going to list this company on a stock exchange, but the idea's got to be big enough for people to want to buy into it. So I tell you what we'll do is we'll become Trade Group and we'll do a one-stop shop for trade and construction business owners. And then we started testing these services and they were selling and they were good, but we were small. There were operational challenges. I was trying to get the training business right. At the time, we were still doing 2-day courses, masterminds. We didn't have the academies. It was a bit fragmented. So there was only 12-something people and we were trying to do too much at the time. And so I put a hold on all of them services. And it's not been since, I think I kicked back off with trade design with Jonathan in, I think it was July or August.
Oh, 6 months ago, I think.
Yeah, about 6 months ago. And that's been great. Obviously, we did Trade Pod this year. We got Trade Design. We've got Casher now and Trade Recruit. We got Trade Digital in the wings. So
Trade Digital?
Websites, lead generation, pay-per-click, Facebook ads, SEO, everything. Wow. Full digital marketing services, basically. Okay. But I'm tiptoeing into that one. Because
risky business.
No one says much good about digital marketing agencies, do they? Yeah. And usually they're complaining about them, right? So it's a dangerous one to walk into because, as my first experience in business was when I was 20 when I realized that multiple services could kill a whole brand if one of the smaller services wasn't very good. And I had a building company when I was 23. And after a year into running Impra as a maintenance company for trade and construction. I had a building company when I was 23. And I started it off the back of launching Impra into property management companies. And they kept asking, have you got electricians? Have you got builders? Have you got this? Have you got that? And everybody I grew up with in Peterborough were trades guys. So most of my guys were either self-employed or I knew someone in the trade. So I was like, yeah, well, I have got them, but guess what? I'm launching a new business now, and so I'll manage all of these jobs, and I'll take a cut. And it got wild. I ended up with like 15 guys very, very quickly. We were doing extensions, refurbs. I mean, I had no fucking clue what I was doing. Pricing these jobs, but I was turning a profit. Yeah. And because I was just a nutty executor, great operator that would always get shit done, I could always pull it off. You know, I'd have I'd have my friends' mums cleaning these apartments, doing end of tenancy cleans at 5 a.m. in the morning before people were coming in. I'm, you know, running around dropping off mops, and it got wild. And then I remember we used this outsourced carpet company, and they were really dirt cheap, and I used to make a killing off the carpets, but they did a bad job, and then they wouldn't go back. And then the agent were like, Impra did a shocking job. And I'm like, what do you mean Impra? I mean, yeah, the carpeting of Impra Property Maintenance, it was called, not Impra as a whole. Yeah, Impra Gas is world class, and some of the building services were, but some of the outsourced services weren't very good, and I didn't have control. And I thought, man, that's going to hurt my brand if I don't maintain all this quality. Yeah. The job that I made £100 on, I'm going to let my whole brand get tarnished with. And so I remember then thinking, you've got to be very careful about what you sell. There's a quick buck to be earned in everything, but if you do everything, it can tarnish what you're a specialist at rather than a generalist. So I decided after a little, it was too much for me anyway. That business got too much for me, and I ended up shutting it down. I remember one of the agents called me on a Sunday, and they were kicking off. Why haven't you siliconed underneath the kitchen cupboards? I'm like, what do you mean silicone underneath the kitchen cupboards? We don't silicone underneath the kitchen cupboards. And they were kicking off, and I must have been in a bad mood. And I emailed out to all the estate agents, right, I'm getting out the building game. Don't give me any more jobs. You got 4 weeks. We're done. I'm just staying in plumbing, and we're gonna build the best plumbing business.
Yeah, and you did.
Yeah,
you know, and got awards for it and everything. You know.
Yeah.
What was the biggest things that you learned at Impra when you were scaling to a national company and achieving what you did?
Okay, so Impra journey was crazy. 7 years from one man in a van to the largest independent boiler installation company in the UK.
Yeah.
A £1,500 transit connected 22 to £1 million a month in boilers at our peak. Now, across that journey, I learned a lot about myself. I learned that I could handle a huge amount of pressure, a lot of pressure, a lot of stress. I learned that I was willing to put everything on the line, my business before everything, relationships, health, fitness, social life. My business meant everything to me. Yeah. And I lived and breathed it, and sacrificed a lot to scale it. I learned that you can have people around you that are there to support you in your own mind, but they have different agendas. I had Lord Sugar as a business partner, a billionaire, you know, when I was 25. What a level up. And having to deal with a character like that and learn about business and hold myself in a boardroom just made me realize that, you know, if I'm going to be great at business, I can no longer be a great plumber. I've got to actually take this business thing seriously. Yeah. Learning about accounting, learning about sales, learning about marketing, learning about operations. Being a good MD means you master the 10% of everything. That means that you deliver nothing, but master the 10% of everything so you can hold everybody to account. I learned from him about leadership. I learned from him about decision making. You know, there's so much more than just being a good operator. Being a good decision maker is key. It's all decisions. Every day is a game of decisions.
Okay.
You know, you got to decide and take an action. Yeah. If you don't decide something every day and take an action every day, then tomorrow's just the same. So like every day I'm firing off 5 to 6 decisions of what's going to happen to progress us, move us forward. Yeah. And you just got to be willing to take action. I understood that success isn't guaranteed and failure isn't final. I had a strange experience from maybe 23 to 29. Everything I touched turned to gold for a period of time. And Alfie Best said to me, look, the thing that you got wrong and the thing that I got wrong is that we believed our own hype. Yeah, and I definitely did. I mean, by the time I was 29, I thought I was untouchable. Everything I was doing, I just books, podcasts, business, buying Lord Sugar out, sales, growth, expansion. I was just on it until I probably grew too big, maybe took my eye off the ball and got distracted. And then the universe sent me a reminder they said, right, we're going to teach you a lesson. And they right hooked me, knocked me on my ass and sent me all the way back down the ladder.
I was getting back. Look what I've done since then. That's just a blip in reality, you know. Your character, you've come back and you're smashing it again. So, you know, that's massive, man.
It was a humbling experience, a hard one, a very bitter pill to swallow, because I gave my life to Impra. And, you know, despite what some people might think, I never wronged, robbed, stole, did any bad business. I didn't take from anybody. And whenever a business goes bust, especially owing money, people think that you've nicked it. You know, and they think that you've taken it from somebody. And I'm an honest businessman. And we grew, and when a business goes into liquidation, and I voluntarily put part of it into liquidation, and I had to shut it down, and I can explain a bit more about what that means and how that works. But when you put a business into liquidation, you get investigated by the insolvency service. So they come along, they do their due diligence, they understand whether you've been doing something called wrongful trading, and we passed with flying colours. If you did something bad, you would get expelled as a director. You wouldn't be able to run another company, which obviously didn't happen to me. And so it meant everything was ethical and everything was moral. It was just bad timing. And you know, but it was a very, very big lesson, and probably one that needed to happen to set me up for the big goals that I've got coming. Because, you know, if you can't handle that, you're not going to be able to handle doing 100 million or 1 billion, because I'm sure there's a lot more that's going to come my way over the next few years. And, you know, now I feel like I am pretty strong. After bouncing back, there ain't much I can't take.
Well, growing 2 8-figure businesses, you know, with the experience you've got to do like the next level that you go into, it's going to be it's exciting to watch from my perspective, mate. You know, I'm looking forward to seeing what you do, and hopefully sponge off some lessons along the way. So that
you're doing fantastic as well, buddy. You're achieving great things.
That's the start, you know. I'm just trying to surround myself with good people and learn as much as I can and see where it all goes. If I'm all
absolutely.
What's the biggest lessons you learned throughout that process with the Apprentice, buying the business back from Low Down Sugar, then Impra, and now Trade Mastermind? What's your key to success then from all the things that was turned into gold?
Okay, great question. So let me unpack it. So what did I learn from The Apprentice? First thing I learned was the universe will send you a sign if your eyes are open to acknowledge it. And what I mean by that is, it was January the 9th, 2015. It was 9 p.m. at night. My business was doing about $750,000 a year. I had a beautiful girlfriend. Lovely BMW M3 convertible, nice house. And for 25 years of age from where I came from, from the outside, it looked like this guy's made it. And it kind of felt like that at times, but also I was miserable. I was running my business 7 days a week. It was very stressful. It was a reactive maintenance company. I could never take a day off. My phone didn't stop ringing ever. And, you know, it was really difficult. And I'd hit my ceiling, and I knew I had. And the thing with me is, I am very, very good at admitting my weaknesses. And I know when something needs to change. Nobody needs to tell me. I'm very self-aware. I used to, as a teenager, from like probably 12 to 15, blamed everybody for how my life was and why it wasn't where it wanted to be, until I got expelled from school. And then I realized that everybody was gone. My dad had left. My mum had given up on me. And so I was like, well, you're on your own now, because no one really cares about you anymore. They think you're finished. So it was all right, okay, it's me against the world. Originally, I wanted to show them how bad I could be. Now I wanted to show them how fucking great I was going to become.
I love that.
And
That's class.
So that kind of then just I stopped making excuses. And so back to January the 9th, so I came in and I was like, man, things have got to change. You can't keep running like this. I'm not happy. And my energy is always searching for the next solution. Like, I hate problems. I love problems and I hate the same problems. So I'm always looking at something that's going to get me to the next level, give me a competitive advantage, right? And so Facebook comes in. and it says, final call for the Apprentice, 24 hours to apply. I looked at that, and no joke, I knew at that very moment I'd won the show. Yeah, I looked at it, I said, that's mine. The sign was sent to me. I fucking knew it. Yeah, I was like, that's mine. So I filled out the details, and I waited, and I waited, and I waited. And I'll tell you a story that I don't ever really tell, okay, because it overcomplicates things a bit. But one night, I was laying in bed. It was a Saturday night, and I hadn't had this invitation come through. No application. And I was watching a film called Wall Street. Charlie Sheen, Michael Douglas, the early day Wall Street, yeah? And it was about an old guy with a young guy as his mentor. First time I'd seen the film. And it was 1 a.m. in the morning, the film was still on. I thought, do you know what? I need to look through my emails, yeah? And it came to me, and guess what? I went down and down, boom! Boundless, The Apprentice. It had got trapped in the junk, yeah? And it said, you've been accepted to go on to the invitation, to go on the auditions. And if I hadn't have been watching that film and that mindset, that trigger hadn't come, I'd have missed the fucking audition. And so that even, like all of these things, I don't ignore them. Yeah. Some people call it coincidence. I call it fate. Yeah, so all of the, I jumped out of bed, got up in the mirror, and I'm like, right, this is my chance. I need to start preparing for this. So I did a couple of things to prepare.
What did you do to prepare?
The first one was I found a lady from Peterborough who was on it like a year or two before. So I went and hunted her down, got a meeting with her, and I said, look, I've been accepted to go on this thing. I've been at the auditions. Yeah, can you give me some pointers? Well, what did she do? She gave me some great pointers. So I was prepared. I went in ready. Some might say cheating, but I went in ready. And I knew what was coming. Other people didn't know, yeah? So I had this speech. Hi, my name is Joseph Valente, and I'm the godfather of business, and I'm here to make Lord Sugar an offer he cannot refuse. You see these candidates in this room? They're already fired, because I vision Lord Sugar say, Joseph, you're hired, yeah? And what they do when you get to the first audition, there's about 6,000 people in suits. Everyone thinks they're the dog's bollocks. And then they bring you into a room 12 at a time, and there's cameras in there, and then they just put it on you. Right, introduce yourself. And then this guy in a suit, Dave the accountant, goes, I'm Dave the accountant, and I've travelled down it. Next, yeah? And then it goes around, and they're expecting to see who's got it, yeah? And I was practiced, so I had it. And I just came out with what I did, and everyone was like, whoa, who the fuck is this guy?
Give him a
that was the starting point. But I also wrote on my application form, I'm the godfather of business. I'm going to make Lord Sugar an offer he can't refuse. I'm Italian. Yeah, I played on that. And then I said, I want to be like Hugh Hefner. I want the girls, the cars, and the money. The penthouses and all this stuff. And obviously that made me stand out. So one of the biggest lessons was, don't be afraid to stand out. Yeah. Everyone goes, all your normal people go, oh God, look at those guys on The Apprentice saying these arrogant statements. And mine was strategic. Yeah, I'm not just saying it because of my ego. I knew the game I was playing. Most people don't know the game they're playing. And if somebody needs me to act or deliver something in a certain way, I'm mind fucking them. They're not mind fucking me. Yeah, so it's the art of manipulation in a positive way. Yeah, so I knew who I had to be. And when I got on the show, because I had a little tash like I got now, you know, my hair was a bit shaved, I had a 3-piece, okay, and they were like, in the boardroom, who's this guy Valente? Sugar comes out, everyone's looking at me, and he goes, he wants to be like Hugh Hefner. Everyone's like, sniggering, like, who's the Joker? He's the wide boy, playboy character that's got nothing serious about him. Wow. Underestimate me, because you've fallen exactly into my hands, right? Yeah. And so I don't mind being underestimated. I love to be underestimated because it's more for you, not more for me, because I can execute and walk the talk. So they didn't think I could. I knew what I was going to be able to do. And so a couple of things are, make sure that you stand out from the crowd, okay, to get attention. That's what I do now. You see it. I'm not afraid to put my head above the parapet. If nobody knows you, if you play it too safe, you just blend in. Yeah? Then you've got to be underestimated. Don't be overestimated, be underestimated, and see it as a positive thing and use that as the fuel and the motivation to drive you. It's about proving people wrong. There's nothing wrong with that as a motivator. Proving people wrong and proving you right is some of the best motivation. When I've been pissed off and wanting to fucking show some motherfucker who the fuck I am, that is the biggest fire that you could ever ask for. Yeah. And on that one, I'll just give you another little side story. It was January 2020, and Impra had to sell part of it off and shut part of it down. And there was a sale and an exit to part of it, and part of it I had to shut down. And the papers picked it up, and someone went to them and told them the story. Well, they published headlines, not saying exactly what had gone on, but just a buzz saying Apprentice winner goes bust. Oh, motherfuckers. Yeah. Anyway, Sugar shares this article on Twitter, yeah? And he said, and at that point, I'd turning my phone on was horrendous. Anything I put on social, it was getting hammered. I was in all of the headlines for a bit, and I was just mortified.
A low time in your life, then.
Really rough. Yeah, I was mortified. I'd worked so fucking hard. I didn't deserve it. Yeah, I was a good guy that had come from nothing, that had built a big fuck-off business, created a lot of jobs, served many thousands of customers and poured his heart and soul into it. Risk and risk and risk and risk to get there. I don't think I deserved it, but I kind of did.
People don't see that.
I know.
That's the worst part. Like, you've poured your heart into a project.
Yeah.
Something bad has happened, and then you get slated on social media.
I know. Because so many people wanted to see me fail. Especially because I'm, let's be honest, I'm quite a confident guy. I can come across as arrogance to people, and so people might think I'm smug or in a certain way. And to be honest, I think I'm pretty humble. I am very confident in my ability, which can get twisted when people think that's arrogance, and it's not. I don't think I'm arrogant because I can fucking execute. So arrogance is when you say shit and can't execute, so I can execute, but I'm very confident. So loads of people wanted to see me lose. Loads of people did. I was more pissed off that they got to see me lose for a bit. Now, they're not laughing anymore, but they got to see me lose for a bit. And it's probably even better that they did, because they thought that he's done. And obviously now I'm back in the game. But, so Lord Sugar put this thing, and it said, you can't win them all. Yeah, this guy is now running business training. Yeah, and it was almost like a mockery of that I couldn't do it after I built a national company, right? We ran out of cash, sales dropped. That's what happened. Not that the business wasn't a big, good business, yeah? So I thought, and I remember I'd been in bed for like 2 days. I didn't want to put my phone up. I was fucking mortified. I was disappointed in myself. Yeah, I was just disgusted with that. I fucking let it fall apart, yeah? And that I wasn't good enough to control it. And so I saw this tweet. Motherfucker. And I'm not even joking, yeah? Like a phoenix, I rose from the ashes. I jumped out of my bed, and I was like, right, let me fucking show you who Joseph Valente is. This ain't the ending. I am not going out like this, yeah? And wow, I thank him so much for that tweet, because honestly, it lit a fire inside me to prove him wrong. And so he's shown up in my life at 22 when I read his book to start my business and take out a loan. It came in my life at 25 when I obviously won the Apprentice. And then he came back when I lost it all. And then due to him, I reignited it all again. So Lord Sugar's been a godsend to me. He really has.
What's your relationship like with him now?
Non-existent.
Well,
non-existent. He wasn't a conversationist when I was his business partner. So let alone nearly 10 years on. Yeah. He didn't say hello to me when we were in partnership together. Really? No, he was a hard dude.
What mentorship did you have from him, or was it the team that he surrounded himself with that you worked with?
Well, I think there was an expectation of something slightly different. But again, I never want to talk to you bad about it because I took loads from it anyway, right? You get the 250 grand.
Yeah.
That was about 2 weeks after the show ended in December. It landed in my bank account. Yeah. Signed the contract, done. 250, boom. That's fucking big on something.
Bad, is it? Yeah.
Great, amazing. Yeah. Then you get him as your business partner. What a great accolade. Winner of the Apprentice. What a great accolade. Yeah. And then you get the monthly board meeting structure. Well, it became pretty clear very early on that they didn't know about the home improvement sector. They knew about manufacturing and tech. So most of his team were his financial advisors, accountants, FDs, and it was him. There was no marketing people, sales people, operations people. It was just finance and him. Yeah. And I got an hour with him. And mostly we spent time talking about the numbers, not how we got to the numbers. I was expected to have all of the answers. They didn't provide me any of the answers. His team just wanted to prove me wrong so they could look good in front of him. So I used to clash every time. You know, I'm not a guy that stays quiet. The first one I was quiet. Then I'm like arguing with them to the point of it became a very confrontational, especially after a bit of the time in. But that was a great lesson. They helped me a lot with accounts. The first meeting, and this is a great lesson for trades business owners and anyone in business watching this, is I had a nearly £1 million business and I didn't really understand accounting. Yeah. And I sat down in the first board meeting. They were giving me a financial pack. I looked at it and I didn't really know what I was looking at. I didn't really understand P&Ls. I didn't get what a balance sheet was, and I didn't really know cash flow. Yeah. So they wrote a budget and I'm like, holy shit, I don't know what all of these documents are. I used to see my accountant once a year. I'd run in for 10 minutes, sign the document. Have I made a profit? Yes or no? He'd say yes. I'd laugh and joke and say, well, where's that money gone then? And then off I'd go back to work. And then that was cycle repeated for about 4 years until they made me realize that the first thing we discuss is numbers. We don't talk about anything until we look at the numbers. I mean, and that's the discipline of a big business, a bigger business. But it should also be the discipline of a small business. The reason it's not a discipline of the small business is because you don't learn you need it until you become a big business when you actually need it, right? So if they told you from day one that you needed it, most people aren't stupid. They would actually do the training. Hence why Trade Mastermind's been so successful, because people come in, they hear the things that I say or one of the trainers says, and then they go, holy shit, yeah, actually, it's probably smart that I learn how to do business. I'm a businessman now. I'm not a plumber anymore, an electrician or a builder. So I came away from that first meeting and I thought, I've got to learn about accounts. I have to go and get the knowledge. And so I did. Yeah, I say fool me once, but you won't catch me again. And I don't mind being humiliated. And I felt humiliated in that first meeting. They didn't humiliate me, but I felt internally humiliated. I beat myself up big time. Yeah. I don't like to look weak or stupid. Yeah. And so I went away and I used that as positive motivation. I went and watched every video I could on accounts on YouTube, and I got up to speed very quickly. And then it became about reading the numbers. But the other thing was about decision making. I can't stress enough how important the decision-making element to success is. Like, you've got to be able to make big decisions and you've got to back yourself. Too many people sit on the fence, or they look for permission for somebody else to tell them it's the right thing to do, that validation from mentors, coaches, boards. And that's the right thing to have, especially as you're building up your confidence. But I would rather make a decision and fail than I would make no decision and sit on the fence. Yeah. And success likes speed. You know, being a slow operator and thinking things take time rather than just fucking getting on with it and executing. You know, I operate to a philosophy now called ready, fire, aim.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm ready always. Then I'll pull the trigger and I'll course correct along the way. I don't need things to be lined up perfectly. I can operate in chaos. Yes. Some people can't operate in chaos and it burns them out, and they want to have everything in a process of how we're going to get there. Well, that's not what entrepreneurs do. Yeah. You know, maybe in bigger businesses with kind of people that are not so entrepreneurial and a lot more structured, but in a lot of cases in the early years of growing a business, you're making blind decisions, not knowing if they're going to connect up. And you've got to put a little bit of that faith into the universe and hope that, you know, your destiny is going to align. Try not to make ridiculous, uneducated, uncalculated, uninformed decisions that could cripple you, because failure's okay, but there are small failures and catastrophic failures. You know, try and avoid the catastrophic ones at all cost.
Screw that.
You know, mine was a hard pill to swallow. It taught me a lot, but it could have been avoided. And it could have been avoided if I'd have had the right mentors and the right support at the size of the business that I was. And I had board members after Lloyd Sugar that had shares and stuff that were business guys that knew, again, nothing about the industry and nothing about my business, and were part-time shareholders that sat once a month in a board that knew nothing about what went down on the front line, didn't understand the industry and didn't know what I was walking into. A good mentor knows what's coming for you. This is what's going to happen. I am the light in the dark. Yeah. Leverage me and ask the questions, just like you can leverage and ask any questions you need to me. I'll be there to support you because you're on a similar journey. Yeah. But there was no one to help. And so the reason, again, that I started Trade Mastermind was because I realized that the mistakes that I made at a national level was because it was the first time I'd ever got national. And you don't know what you don't know. So what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to not do it because I'm afraid in case I fail because I don't know what I'm going to do? Or am I supposed to do it and then fail and then hopefully it's not too big of a failure and then I stay in the game? Well, the solution is get educated at what you need to do at that level and get people around you that have been at that level in your industry that can sit with you and go, don't do that, do this, this is about to happen, watch out. Yeah.
So learn from other people's mistakes who've been there, done it, and bought the t-shirt, really.
Absolutely.
Nice. Yeah.
Cool.
So with Trade Mastermind now, you're branching off into all these different avenues. You've got a Millionaire Mastermind, Renewable Mastermind, Boiler Academy. You've got all these things, the Trade Recruit, everything. So with all that coming in as one big company, really, that's what it is. How will you leverage that to potentially get out in the future?
Yeah. So the reason I'm doing that now and expanding into so many different areas is because I want to make the company indestructible. The biggest mistake I made in Impra, and I learn lessons from all of my previous mistakes. I'm always about making sure that the lesson doesn't go, unlearnt effectively. And at Impra, now there is a formula of how you grow a business that I didn't know at the beginning. Yeah. And what trades businesses do, they start up and they diversify very, very quickly because they don't have a marketing strategy. So the more stuff they offer, the more people they're going to get. And that's not a bad strategy for a one-man band that knows nothing about marketing to begin with. The problem is it actually hinders the growth of that business without the business owner realizing. So they're following a blueprint of other trades businesses that haven't been able to achieve the scale either, thinking it's the right thing to do. So what you're supposed to do in business is you're supposed to specialize. So 0 to 1 million, you want to stick to 1 to 2 products. Yeah. And in trade and construction, plumbers, it's boilers or bathrooms. Electricians, it's solar and EVs. Now for plumbers and electricians, there's, air source, renewables. You want to do one thing. So you can create a perfect, repeatable week. Leads, sales, get paid, delivery, get paid, repeat. And then you can build systems. When you can build systems, you can hire people come in to manage those systems, and you can move away from being the operator, and you can go and open up new product lines without having to do the operations or the delivery. But when you get to 1 million, you want to start to diversify. Now, what I did at Impra is I spent 4 years building £1 million maintenance business by the time I was 26. Yeah. Realized that wasn't scalable beyond 1 million. It was chaotic, and then got into boilers. Then from 26 to 29, I went from doing, 0 boilers to 6,000 boilers a year. Yeah, £1 million a month in boilers. But what I should have done, if I knew what I knew now, and hindsight's a wonderful thing, is after 1 million, I should have opened up other product lines, like I've told you before, And at the time, in mid-2019, 2018, there was no solar market. So I'd have absolutely done that one. Absolute no-brainer. Okay. Air source was coming. I was getting MCS accredited, but it isn't what it is now. Now I feel like it's got real commercial value to it because it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. The next 24 months will be a really good opportunity. We're launching the Air Source Academy to be able to capitalize on that. Because the market's growing and there's a great opportunity there. But there was no other products really to diversify. And I built boilers all the way to 8 figures on one product line. Wow. Now, that made the business very risky. And all that happened in 2019 was that I'd expanded really quickly. I'd gone to Glasgow, Scotland, Wales, everywhere, Cornwall. We had a lot of people, massive infrastructure costs. And in some of the areas, the product lines just really slowed down. It was a warm winter, Brexit was happening, people stopped buying, and it killed my cash flow. Yeah. And I was building on cash flow. But if I'd have had other product lines then that were successful in the marketplace, then one product line not slowing down wouldn't have took the business down.
It would have offset it. It would have been like a 12-month business, so you wouldn't have to worry about it.
Absolutely.
A bit of a dodgier winter.
Yeah. And so Trade Mastermind, we've got now just in the training business 5 streams of income: the Boiler Academy, the Construction Academy, the Solar and Renewables Academy, Millionaire Mastermind, coaching products, the 7-figure boardroom, like all of these other things, Millionaire Mastermind. So there's lots of product lines that appeal to multiple markets, meaning that if one product line slows down, then it's not going to take the business down. So that was the first thing I needed to do this time around. Okay. Straight after $1 million, diversify. Yeah. Now, Trade Group Services is all about, 2 things. Firstly, believe it or not, it's about our customers. Yeah, it's not about the exit value. Okay. Yeah, it's about ensuring customers have success on their training. Well, I've been doing it for 4 years now. I've worked with a lot of businesses, a couple of thousand businesses. And so businesses come in, they get the growth, and then they say, where do I get my people? Where do I get my leads? Where do I get my website? Where do I get my accounts? Where do I get my design? Where do I get my social media? Where do I get my podcast? Where do I get this, that, and the other? Okay. And so I got a choice. I can either set up partnerships and give that stuff to other businesses, or I can build it myself and control the journey for our customers. Because as a business grows, it needs all of these things. Training in its own right doesn't get the job done. You need people, you need leads, you need a website, you need the education, but you need support as well. You need the support. So get people successful, they need access to services that can help them execute on the training programs. It's about customers first and foremost. It's also a fantastic fucking business model and a great business idea, that allows us to become a one-stop shop for trade and construction business owners. Then you have Trade Digital, Trade Design, Trade Recruit, Trade Finance, Trade Portal, Trade Hub, Trade anything else, and then you can start to run marketing campaigns to the market in each one of these individual brands. Then you can cross-pollinate the leads. I could start running ads for Trade Recruit. Oh, by the way, have you got training? No, I just need an engineer. Yeah, but have you ever thought about growing your business? No. Okay, cool. Well, how about you speak to our guy at Trade Mastermind? Then Trade Mastermind. Well, I'm growing my business. You got anywhere I can get people? How about you speak to our Trade Recruit? So I'll have 10 brands that I can run unique marketing campaigns for that will cross-pollinate. And then it will just continue to feed the beast. And at every level of growth, the opportunity vehicle caps out. I believe that Trade Mastermind is probably 20 million a year in the training business consistently.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe even that's a bit too high. Maybe 10 to 15. Yeah.
In the UK?
In the UK. Oh. Yeah, I reckon consistently you could do that each year, every year, without saturating the market. Yeah, and going too aggressive. Okay. Because eventually it becomes diminishing returns, So then my ambitions personally as an entrepreneur is to get to 9 figures before I'm 40. Realistically, in the next 2 years, I'm 35 now. I want to do it in the next 2 years. Okay, if I don't do it in the next 2 years, minimum before I'm 40, and then it's the 9 figures. Well, if the training business can't grow to 9 figures, you have to understand what's called an opportunity vehicle. That opportunity vehicle is an 8-figure opportunity. Don't take it to 9, Joseph. You learned that lesson on boilers in Impra. Okay, don't even try. Expand it. So then that's where more product lines come in. And so the Trade Group Services is going to take us to 100 million. Okay. And it will generate enough bottom line profit, and it will have enough retention and success that it's probably at least 100 million exit.
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely got 100 million exit written on the bottom of it. Yeah. So that'll be nice.
Yeah. Too shabby?
Won't be too shabby. But I'd love the marketplace. And the expansion the expansion for the training business is US. If I can get 10 million a year out of the training business in the UK, there's 370,000 trades businesses in the UK. You won't get 100% of that market. In actual fact, you'll get a couple of percent max that will do it. Yeah. And then the US, however, is 2 million.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you think the market's almost 10 times the size, you could just basically, as a fag packet analysis, say, well, it's 10 times the revenue then, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty simple.
Yeah.
You know, there's something called TAM. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's total.
I knew you were speaking about it earlier.
Yeah. Total obtainable market. Okay. Yeah. So whenever you're looking to expand the business, the first thing you got to do is ask yourself, well, how big is the market? Because that really is what will predict the potential, not you just coming up with the idea and just going and selling it. Like the original days of Trade Mastermind, that was what the game was, to get it moving, just to have a go and see if there was any appetite. But now it's about being more structured and working on total obtainable market. There's New Zealand, there's Australia, there's Canada, there's America. So kind of those 5 countries are a good opportunity, to be able to expand the training business. Then TGS services as a whole. So it's got $100 million to $1 billion opportunity. If I can get 100 billion exit, out, if I can get $1 billion exit out of it, that is maybe pushing it, but I definitely can get 100 million out of it. And so I'll see how the next few years go.
Yeah.
You know, if it's one note, I think the trade group services is such a good idea to pay for one fixed fee where you get training support, academies, team support, recruitment, finance, digital, website, CRM, accounting, all under this one fixed affordable fee that people will sign on to that and they will never leave it because it's convenience and consistency. Yeah.
Like nowadays, the societies that we live in, it's all about convenience.
Yeah.
Everyone wants instant gratification straight away. They want it easy as possible, not have to look here, look there. They want like a turnkey solution. And that is what you're talking about, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
Trade Mastermind, we've done it a lot. So the renewable sector, obviously, you've been such a massive advocate of renewable energy in the last 12 months, just from my perspective. With pushing solar, pushing heat pumps and everything like that. Where do you see this renewable sector going in the next 12 to 36 months?
Well, obviously, it's the future, isn't it, of heat, light, power, hot water. So for the construction industry, I see it as the biggest opportunity out there right now for businesses to transition into this space. If they're going to build a great business, the government are your PR and marketing machine. Now, Labour are backing it and they're talking about it, and once it gets nationwide coverage, media, press, people off the back of that go straight online and they start to search. When they start to search, that becomes the demand in the marketplace. So the government will bring out lots more incentives, I'm sure, for customers and for installers. The manufacturers are pushing towards having to change their products and service to fit this new way of generating energy. And I'm excited by it. I think that, the great thing about our business, our industry, is construction may never be the most exciting market on the planet. It may never make you the most millions. But what it will do is give you a solid, sustainable, reliable, perfect, repeatable business model based on a heat, light, and power demand. It's never going to be the next Facebook, but it's going to be an amazing opportunity for many. And depending on what your goals are, I'd say for many trades businesses is look to have a, trade business strategy, get great at it, because trade businesses are the hardest to run. Trade Mastermind's been a breeze in comparison to Impra. Trades businesses are fucking hard. You're running 3 businesses in one business. You got a field team, an office team, and as you start to expand, a field sales team. Plus all of the materials, retrofitting, different house types. It's a skill, your recruitment. It's all a hard business to run, right? So if you can cut your teeth and do that one well, you come into a business that doesn't have those 3 elements. Trade Mastermind is like running a third of Impra at the same size. It's a breeze, Like it's a walk in the park for me compared to what that other business was. I'm excited by it, and customers are going to the technology is going to evolve rapidly. So costs are going to come down. And, I'm seeing all these new builds now with inset solar panels.
Cool.
They're not even sticking them on the outside of the plant tiles anymore, are they? They're insetting them.
Yeah, you can have like tiles instead of tiles. So solar panels instead of tiles. You can have in-roof systems as well as on-roof systems.
Yeah.
Ground-mounted systems. Like we've just done like more or less a mini solar farm for it.
Yeah.
Which we built it off aluminium, racking and everything. It's pretty cool, like,
Brilliant.
And the future for the industry, solar and heat pumps, is just going to be crazy.
Yeah.
I think the government have just committed to like £30 billion in the next 5 years for renewable energy.
Yeah.
So I can see them pushing. Where do you feel like renewable energy is going to play a part in your personal life? You're going to be putting it on properties that you own, on your home. Like, what are you going to be doing?
Well, personal life-wise, where am I at now with that? I mean, I'd probably put solar on my house. It's honestly not something that I think more about, generating more training programs around it than I do about putting it on my house personally. But that's because I'm never at home and I live by myself. But I have just had a new 6-man sauna installed, a new hot tub. I've had a big conversion done.
Wow.
So indoors, so sauna, hot tub, these big plunge pool things. So my electric bill is going to go wild. I know. So I might get some solar and battery now to bring the cost down. So I'll probably get it now based on that. You've just reminded me, actually. So thanks for that.
We'll do it.
If you want to give me a call, that'd be great. Yeah, that'd be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I'm excited for Trade Mastermind because I see it as a way for us to build phenomenal training programs off the back of it. We're looking to partner with companies like Heist and Easy MCS, and there's loads to do with manufacturers and all that type of stuff. I just haven't got the time at the moment to get around to setting up the partnerships, but there's loads of access there. I'm almost of the mindset around our network of distribution of somehow how to leverage that and all the installers that we got and everything else, but I really don't know, and I don't want to try to get too dragged back into it, but I'm sure there's an opportunity there in some way, shape or form.
It's time management, you're developing the training side of the business.
Yeah.
The partner programs can come afterward, like you're bringing in people. Like you can even give that to them.
Definitely.
I think doing the Heist and Easy MCS thing with, like, from my perspective, as coming from the heating background that has gone into solar and renewable energy, I've seen the challenges up front of what it's like to go from the heating sector to the renewable sector. And there is a couple of challenges that go with that. And I think, if you can give that positive information.
And what is that challenge in your opinion?
It's a long, drawn-out process. There's a skill fade from a heating engineer than there is for solar and heat pumps. It is a lot of things that go into it, and what you need for Heist, what you need for MCS, and like Easy MCS is amazing. It cuts through all the bullshit, if I'm honest with you,
Am I right in saying that they're doing something to the MCS policy in the new year and they're slimming it down or cutting out the red tape to get more installers on board with it?
I heard that they was taking away the umbrella scheme. So there's a few companies out there that allow...
so it's going to make it harder then. Oh, really? I thought they were cutting it down and shortening it up.
What they're doing is, what I've heard is they're taking away all the umbrellas. So the companies that are not MCS accredited and are doing it through an umbrella, they're going to stop all that and make everyone do it through MCS.
Yeah.
But what I found was that Easy MCS was a godsend. And working with Heist, obviously, is fantastic because the consumers or the customers that we have, it safeguards their deposit.
Yeah.
Which, some deposits on solar can be, 5-10 grand depending on the size of the system.
Yeah.
I know Heist, the maximum deposit that is safeguarded is 5,000 pounds. So that customer is safeguarded if
Yeah.
anything goes wrong with the company.
And do you have to give that money to Heist, or
It's you sign up on a
it's in a system?
yeah.
Okay, you can't access.
It's like insurance.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, it's like safeguarded with an insurance policy.
Oh, right. So you just pay for an insurance.
Yeah,
But you get to keep that $5,000 working capital in the business. Yeah. Okay.
But you just register it with Heist, and
Right.
then Heist safeguard the customer's money.
Oh, that's good. How much you pay Heist for that?
I can't remember, if I'm honest.
Oh.
It's a monthly thing, and you pay like I don't know, up to £1,000 as a starting off fee. And then it's a good system.
Yeah.
I got to be honest, I'm impressed.
Great.
So the transition from a heating company to solar, it was a bit challenging, but I feel like, if you were bringing that expertise in of a system of how to do it, that'll help lots of companies do it.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, I think it's really good.
Great.
With regards to yourself, setting goals, setting plans in place.
Yeah.
Do you go off a small, medium, and long-term plans? And how do you set your goals for the future?
So I work on personal, professional, and financial, and I have a list effectively, and some of it's the here and the now, and some of it's the future. So I try and break it down by monthly, and then I try and break it down by overall. And I like to revisit mine at least, if I'm being really honest, 3 times a week. I try to do it every day, to read the list every day, to keep it at the forefront of my mind. Almost use it as a wish list effectively. And the more it gets looked at, the more it seems to come real. So I'm using that as the strategy, and it works. Yeah, it really does. What gets measured gets done. Yeah, that's really important. Results go where energy flows, and if you're not focused on it, it won't come true. Yeah. But I really believe in the law of attraction. I really do. I don't think that anything is coincidence. Yeah. I believe that there is a way to attract what you want, who you are, into your life, and that could be a partner, it could be a product, it could be a business, it could be anything really. And I work to the law of attraction model that is, first and foremost, you got to vision it. Everything starts with a vision. Yep. Yeah, you got to see it in your mind before you can hold it in your hand, and then you've got to speak it. I am going to be a billionaire, because what helps cement the belief is the words. The vision's the vision, but you got to vision it, speak it, and then you've got to feel it. Yeah, so you've got to put yourself, like I always say, I'm on a super yacht. I've got 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 a super yacht. I'm walking along the dock, and I'm going up the ladder to see the captain, wave to the captain. Yeah, someone's waiting there with my champagne, Mr. Valente, lobster. Yeah, and then the front of the boat. So, and I can feel the sun on my face. I'm like looking around, my helicopter's on the back of it. Yeah, so then you got to feel it, right? So, and then finally you got to believe it. Yeah, and if you vision it, speak it, feel it, all of those things, then that in that moment, I was back there. And for that moment, when my eyes closed, it was real to me. Yeah. So now I believe. Yeah, because if you don't believe, it will never come true. And people think, it's just about go and put your vision board up. If you go and make a super yacht on there and you don't think you can actually get one, and you look at it and go, well, I've put one on the board. Yeah, and you don't, but I'm never going to get it. Okay, then that's not the law of attraction. The law of attraction is that sequence, and you've really got to practice it, and you really got to put intention into it. So I have my goals, and then I use that law of attraction as a way to bring them into reality.
What are your goals?
Good question. So first and foremost is to create a legacy for Joseph. Number one priority is to make sure that he doesn't have to suffer the generational curse of starting again. Like, I don't want to leave him with nothing. And I think it's our mission, as parents, to make sure that we give them a level up. And everybody's level up will be different, but I don't want them to have to start from nothing. And I want to make sure that he doesn't just have all of the things that I never had. He knows all of the things that I never knew. It's education and it's a good life. But it's a legacy play for him. Yeah, so he's got to level up. Yeah, remember that boy. Yeah. For everyone on the podcast, he's sat behind me, he's looking at me. And so it's a level up for him. It's about legacy for me. I want to make sure that in 1,000 years, my family and the Valente bloodline I'm looking up at the portrait and saying, thank God, Joseph, great granddaddy Joseph the First, so created this for us. That's really important to me. I'll be around. They don't know it. I'll be somewhere watching thinking, you ungrateful bastards. Or I'll be thinking, yeah, well done. You guys remember. I want to help as many people as I possibly can. I think the personal development industry is all about leveling people up. You've got to be passionate about wanting to see people win. The business has to be more than just about making money. If you're not passionate about it, you'll quit. So, this business by no means has been easy to build. In 4 years to an 8-figure business, I've worked 7 days a week, night and day, creating a marketplace, the products or services, hiring the people, faced the setbacks, had the challenges, had a lot of grief to deal with along the way to push this product and service into the marketplace. But you've got to do this industry.
There was nothing like this about before you done it. Yeah. Like they were in the construction industry anyway. You were the first.
Absolutely.
You're the pioneer of bringing construction businesses into the forefront of running businesses.
And I think it's been so successful because it genuinely solved the problem. I think there's people that have a perception of me. I see people that write on the ads that don't know the story, and they're like, this guy's never seen a tool in his life. I'm like, dude, I was on the tools when I was 14. I left school at 14. Yeah, I've been on the tools for 10 years nearly before I got off them. Like, I am a tradesman. A qualified tradesman. Just because I'm wearing a suit now, it doesn't mean that I still won't beat your fucking ass on the tools. Yeah. So don't test me, motherfucker.
Still out really quicker than you, mate.
It's funny. I remember just on a side note, I went to Installer in 2016 after the Apprentice as like a guest, and there was this dude there, and he had this like pipe clamping thing, and he had it in a box where you had to put your hands in. It was this kibosh tool that Rothenberg was selling. It was a leaky pipe, and they timed you, and you had to get it in and like click the pipe thing round and like slap it down, and every plumber was lining up, and I turned up in the suit. No shit. I went in there and got the fastest time. And like everyone was like, thinking that I just was, the guy that didn't really know about the real shit. And I went in there and smoked them all, which I was quite proud of actually.
Yeah, of course.
What else? What else do I want to do? Global expansion is something that I think will test me as a businessman and an entrepreneur. I want to buy a super yacht. I want a private jet. I want more kids. I want another 2 kids.
Nice.
I want to work a lot on my fitness in 2025. But I've gone back through that 4-year period of where I'm having to sacrifice. So now bringing in Lee and being able to step away from the day-to-day can actually get down that gym consistently. And I think that's it really. Just make a shitload of money, live good, break the generational curses, build a legacy, and just keep pushing myself at every level of the game and help as many people along the way. Wealth for me is all about giving back. The reason I want to be a billionaire is so I can help 1 billion people. I can't spend £1 billion. You won't spend it. There's no point just keeping it. And he doesn't need 1 billion. And the bloodline doesn't need 1 billion. But we do need we need assets that mean that they're never going to have to be broke again. Yeah. And we need to have a family culture of being able to provide for others. I think that's what it's all about.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I'm excited to see all the journey. I'm excited to see what you do in America.
Yeah,
I think if you can emulate what we've done here with air conditioning or whatever trades are out there, I think that's a massive fulfillment.
Yeah, absolutely. And now that Trump's back in the game, I think that America will turn around. Yeah. I wouldn't have probably done it if that Kamala Harris would have won. No way. No. America was finished. It was going downhill big time. So that's given me an excitement that America, because America growing up was like, we used to have, you're probably similar age to me. Yeah. The message was, America is the land of the hope and the dreams and the brave and all that stuff, yeah? And you go to America, to New York, to become free. And that was always the dream that I was relatively bought into until I woke up to actually that isn't, it isn't what they sell it to be. And a lot of America is third world. You know, the reality, and they pretend that they're not, but they are. Yeah, it's really poor in some areas and horrendous in some areas. Lawless. And that's good. I'd love to do more in the Middle East. Dubai, I want to try and do Millionaire Mastermind at the Burj Khalifa.
Yeah, I was out there
fantastic.
A couple of weeks ago. We had breakfast at the Burj.
Oh, nice. Clean, safe,
amazing,
entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
You know, it's just far away. Yeah. And when you got kids, it's tough.
Yeah, we took all of them. So it was me, my wife, and my 3 children went out there.
Yeah.
A little bit of traveling and stuff like that. But honestly, the experience we had out there was amazing. Yeah,
good.
I recommend it. It was great.
Pleased to hear it.
Yes. And like imagine doing the Millionaire Mastermind at the Burj.
I know. Yeah.
That'd be next level.
The gherkin done now. We've kind of capped it.
What's next for the Millionaire Mastermind then?
Burj Khalifa.
Okay. Straight to the Burj Khalifa.
Yeah, straight to the Burj.
Okay,
yeah. No shit. I'm not even joking.
Really?
Yeah, fucking 100%. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll either do it in 2025 or I'll do it in 2076. Mark my words, we'll be at the top of the Burj.
Yeah.
There's nowhere else to go. Yeah. Unless I do the Empire State Building or something. But, you know, it's got to be what's better than the Gherkin in the UK. The Shard is great, but it's not as good as the Gherkin because the venue is weird. When you get to the top of the Shard, we did one there last year. It's like triangle rooms, really? Whereas the Gherkin's beautiful, the whole cone. Yeah. There's that. I think that the Millionaire Mastermind gives me an opportunity to expand into all business. Okay, and I want to train all business. I see that as a multi-billion-dollar opportunity. So Trade Mastermind and Trade Group Services will probably become maybe one day JV Empires and JV Group Services, and it will be the same thing all over the world to all business. Nice. And then you're talking ridiculous.
So what about a world tour?
Millionaire
Mastermind world tour, all the biggest buildings in the world.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
That'd be decent.
Yeah, Sydney Tower, Empire State, Burj Khalifa.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that'd be really good.
On it, I mean, Cardone just did one, and he rented out this like 50, 100, 200 million yacht, and he took 150 people, and they paid $100,000 each. Yeah, to be on there for 3 days, and they call it the 10X cruise.
Yeah, you went to one of his 10X.
Yeah,
when you went in Vegas, right?
Yeah.
How was that?
Oh, brilliant! Yeah, amazing. I've been twice now, and the level of energy and enthusiasm. The Yanks are a different breed when it comes to personal development. In the UK, there's a lot of skepticism. In America, they're well up for it.
Really?
Yeah, like they love personal development because they're a lot more optimistic. You know, they're really about business and growth and, you know, leveling up. And, you know, the motivation and power from those events was phenomenal. That's why Tony Robbins coming from America's done so well because of the size of that audience. Whereas the UK, it's, you know, look how many people are negative about personal development. Let's be honest. Most people think it's a scam. And most people think it's a scam because they have spent their life making 20, 30 grand a year. Then someone comes along and goes, here, guess what? You can do it this way. And they go, what? No way. What, you mean I give you money and that the thing that I've done for 10 years is actually not all that I can do? It's easier to go, that's a load of rubbish, than it is to go, yeah, actually, let me become the best version of myself. And you never hear anybody successful say personal development's a scam. The only people that say personal development is a scam is broke people. Yeah, that is a reality of the situation. Yeah, and
mindset thing again. It's a mindset.
Yeah,
people with an open mindset are more open to personal development.
Yeah,
people with a closed mindset are more closed off to it. So
I think like it's funny because we've been doing this, as you know, now for nearly 4 years, and I've been running ads. I spent millions of pounds on ads. I sent hundreds of millions of emails, probably millions of fucking text messages, not stop 24 hours.
I know.
7 day a week, round the clock bombardment. Yeah. It's ultimate bombardment. That's how we've done it. It's 10X, it's Cardone style. You can tell who I learned from. And it works as far as I'm concerned. But, you know, we got guys coming to Discovery Days that have been like, it's taken me 4 years to come here, you know. Yeah. And I'm like, what, 4 years ago? Yeah, I've seen your emails. And finally, you showed up and I thought, fuck it, I'm going to give it a go. 4 years. And this isn't just one person. That's like, and then you see all that marketing effort that went in all those years ago, and you don't see those leads come in. They're not coming. And if you give up, then we would have lost that opportunity. Yeah. We got our telesales agents. They have to ring a business sometimes 25, 30 times. They come in here and go, your guys didn't give up. And then they're grateful. Thank fuck they didn't give up, because I'm here. I'm ready to go. If you'd have given up on me, then and that's what sales is really all about. People think that contacting too many times is a disservice. Most people need that constant pushing, because they don't do it. And it's the pushing that gets people to commit and out of their comfort zone. So I'll never apologize for marketing or selling too hard. No. That's what works. And, you might piss some people off along the way. So what?
But you're going to do that anyway. Yeah, if you don't do it, you can't make everything.
We've had people that, we send 4 emails a day to that don't complain. And we've had people that if you send 1 email a week, they think you're marketing too much. Where's the level that you work to? There is no level. No. All you got to do is promote. Best known wins.
Yeah.
Look at McDonald's. There's plenty of fast food places out there, and way better than them. The food's average at best, okay, but why are they the biggest? Because of their marketing machine. Best known wins, always, yeah? And that's why I love what you're doing with this, because you've got the balls to invest in something that nobody else is doing. I mean, you got to be pioneering the content scene with Renewable Radio.
Yes, it's going good.
Yeah.
It's out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
It's out of my comfort zone from the start, but I feel, I've got a message that I want to deliver to consumers. I'm doing it for the right reasons. Yeah. And if I got to put myself out there to deliver that, and that's what I'm doing.
It's things like this, Ash, that will pay you in the future that you don't realise yet. No. Yeah, you're not making equity in the day. This is never a short-term play.
Yeah,
this is a few years play, and then you'll really start to reap the rewards. Yeah, I've been putting unfinished business out now for nearly a year and a quarter, every week, consistently, non-stop, costing me a few salaries, thousands and thousands of pounds a month to produce shows that at the beginning only a handful of people watch, okay? Then it'll get to be a few hundred. Then it'll be 1,000. Then it'll plateau. Then it'll be, 1,500. And I'm looking at it a year in. I've been doing mine for a year, and I'm only achieving a couple of thousand views, depending on the episode, a couple of thousand views to, and that's putting out one a week, not a month. And if you do it a month, it could take 10 times longer. Yeah. But the play is, and with mine's a 20-year play. Yeah. So I'm documenting the rise to a billionaire. So I don't need anything out of it right now. I just need to invest, and I'm willing to put in the money because I know it will pay back. The dots will connect. It will become a Netflix TV show, I'm sure. Okay, all these things will happen, right? But yours is something where you can utilize it. Yours can monetize in more than just sharing a message. It's a great sales aid to close a deal. It's a great brand builder to look how professional you are. You get to meet people and have these conversations, because people won't come and meet you for a coffee, but they'll come and do a podcast to talk about themselves.
Yeah.
Not that I will meet you for a coffee. I'm saying I was. I was just meet you for a coffee, but some people won't. And you can leverage this. You can get manufacturers on here. You can get press, the industry on here. You can get, influential figures in the construction industry on here. You can get your next strategic partner to come on here. You can get an energy company because you want a fund off them or whatever it is to come on here. Heist to come on here. You should tee up with the Heist guys and all of those people to get them on here.
It's all leverage.
Yeah.
People want to put their message across. They love having the opportunity to say their story. So I see it as a massive opportunity, and I love what you're doing. It's I see it as an asset for myself and my company.
Yeah, great.